coming up on Saturday, the Final Four from New Orleans. Joining us right now on the show is BetQL host Quinton Mayo of BetMGM Tonight. Quinton is brought to us today by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. How are you, sir?
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
We're doing pretty good. Now, Quinton, I got to ask you a big question here. When we spoke last, you were really upset that Gonzaga was disrespected.
You know what? I'm sick and tired of you guys. Every time I come on here at 9:30 in the morning, I have a good smile on my face. I'm happy to talk. And then the first question is always something wrong that I have done. Yes, I was very upset about Gonzaga being disrespected. And they made me look like idiots. Okay, they made me look like some idiots. But you know what? Good for college basketball. We do get a lot of the matchups that we wanted to see here in the Final Four. And I think the NCAA as a whole, I think they like the product that they're putting out there on Saturday. So, yeah, Gonzaga, they are now dead to me. I don't know that team as well as Iowa. I gave out Iowa as my national champion. I couldn't even make it to the first show of the week or for our show before Iowa was eliminated from contention. But I have been winning money. I told you I'm just getting my money back. So I might not be able to predict the games in their entirety. But we're looking at ATS and against the spread, I am winning my money back. So there we have it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's great. And so where's the good money this weekend? Obviously, the first game, Villanova, major injury, impact on the game. How much did Moore being out, is that impacting the line?
It's crazy. It's really crazy because a lot of people are now, of course, looking at Villanova in a different light. Because, like you said, Justin Moore's impact is so much further than people may think. He's the second leader scorer, I think, first on the team in rebounding. But the thing that really matters is the fact that they have a short rotation there at Villanova. They don't go a whole bunch of guys deep on that bench. They go about 7 deep and at most. And those guys also had a lot of Sweet 16 experience coming into this game. But now Justin Moore is out. That has a lot of people looking at that line and saying, man, I don't know if I can trust Villanova. But then you look at it like this. Jay Wright does get a week to prepare for a Kansas team that has shown signs of being undisciplined. Right now at BetMGM, the line is still 4.5, and both of the games are sitting at a 4.5. This 4.5, of course, is in favor of Kansas. A lot of money has been coming in on Villanova lately. I want to say yesterday I saw it was like 60% of the bets are on Villanova to cover the number. I'm still a little skeptical because I love Jay Wright. I think he's a professional level coach. He should have been a Philadelphia 76er head coach a couple years ago before things kind of fell through. I'm still going to go with Kansas in this spot. I think Kansas, their shooting and their scoring allows them to do something that Villanova just can't do at this point in time. I think it will be ugly, though. The total in the game right now is sitting at 150. I want to say 151.5. I would take the under in the game because I just don't know how well, or it's 132.5, excuse me. I'm thinking about the other game. I don't know how well Villanova's going to be able to score in this spot to keep up with the scoring that Kansas had. I mean, Kansas had the worst first half of basketball against Miami. They were down at halftime and still came back and almost hung 100 points on Miami in the second quarter. So I'm on Kansas in this game.
So the number is definitely difficult. I was actually lucky because I always think gambling is lucky, not a science. I took a lot of the first half unders throughout this tournament, and they've been really, really successful. Do you anticipate, especially, for Saturday's games, when it's the first time, look, they'll practice, but it's in a big dome. It's a little different than they've been used to. So, sometimes the first half, they come out a little cold.
Yeah, absolutely. First half unders have been on fire. And I like that. Like you said, a change of venue is important. There were 9 straight first half unders that cashed since Thursday night in the NCAA tournament. 9 straight is crazy. And then, of course, Arkansas and Duke, that made it 10 straight after that game. So I'm with you. Different change in venue. Also, it's just a different depth perception. I try to explain this to some people because I've played basketball before, but it's like every basket is not made the same. Even the nets. Some courts have longer nets. Some courts have shorter nets. All that impacts the eye and how you can shoot the basketball. And I think there is a filling out period. So if you're going to take the first half under, I can't argue against that because I love that play. And also, even a little more in the weeds here, the NIT is tonight, the NIT championship. I know a lot of people are not following the NIT because, it's like the little baby tournament that nobody really cares about, the little consolation prize. But Texas A&M is taking on Xavier tonight. The first half total was 64.5. Myself and my co-host Ryan Horvath on BetMGM Tonight, we've already taken the first half under in that game. It's already gone down now since yesterday to 63.5. So first half under this weekend, I like that. But also tonight in the NIT championship, A&M and Xavier take the first half under as well.
So when you get ready for the Super Bowl, everybody's always talking about some of the prop bets or putting some of those props together in parlays. Let's just take Duke, North Carolina. I know I'm kind of hitting you unexpected here. Is there anything that you look at in regards to prop bets, something on the side that you think is going to produce well in that game, or maybe a parlay that you could put together?
Oh, I like that. You're not catching me off guard at all. I do like in this game, what you can do at BetMGM is you can go to the side. I'm trying to look through the tabs here. It's the game props tab. They have something called winning margin, which pays out a lot more than what you may think. So let's say, for example, if you think North Carolina is going to win the game, but you think it's going to be close, for North Carolina to win between 1 and 5 points, that's plus 400 value. That's 4-1 odds. Now, North Carolina, of course, they're a 4.5-point underdog. So if they win and just squeak it out, that's 4-1. If they win between 1 and 5, I like the winning margin props as well. Also, we have stuff like race 2. What team comes out and, let's say, gets to 5 points first? North Carolina Duke is a favorite to come out and score the first or get some 5 points first, minus 135. You can do that all the way up to like 50 points. Who scores 50 points first? North Carolina, plus 125. So there's a lot of stuff that I see on the board. Nothing that I played officially, but in terms of like some other grander props, you can go to BetMGM right now and you can bet what we have, the tournament most outstanding player. So like a future bet, but also like a player prop. So if you think Paolo Banchero is going to be the most outstanding player in this tournament, you're assuming that Duke is going to win the tournament and that Banchero is going to be the best player and get those honors. You can get him at plus 300. One thing that I gave out this week, I really like UNC, and I know you saw what Caleb Love did at the second half or in the second half of that game against UCLA. He almost dropped 30 points. I think if UNC has a chance at this thing, they're going to need Caleb Love to step up like he did in the past games. Caleb Love right now at BetMGM is 22-1 to win most outstanding player in the tournament. I also have a 22-1 ticket in my pocket for UNC to win the tournament outright, but that's a player prop that you can play as well. So it's a bunch of stuff. I also like Jeremy Roach for Duke as well, 22-1. If he can hit those big shots that he is known for shooting, because Banchero kind of ducks away from the moment when the lights shine the brightest, even though he is a stat sheet stuffer. We know that Jeremy Roach likes to shoot the last shot. So 22-1 for him, that's a nice player prop that you can play.
So who do you like in the Carolina-Duke game? It is 4.5 on BetMGM. Carolina getting the 4.5.
I don't know if you guys know this, but this is Coach K's last year. Did you guys know that? They only tell us in every commercial break, every ad for the show, when we come back from break, it's just in our face. But I will say this UNC team, I think 4.5 is a little too much in favor of Duke. I thought the line was going to come out more like 1.5 or 2 in favor of Duke, but 4.5 is kind of like, okay, it's Coach K's last year. The talent is coming together at the right time. But these two teams, of course, these two blue bloods meeting for the first time in the tournament, UNC already beat them. They have the confidence, and UNC wasn't even as good of a team as they were back when they beat them on Coach K's last game as they are now. So I'm going to take UNC to cover the 4.5 minus 115. I'm also going to sprinkle something on them to win the game outright, plus 155 on the money line. I think UNC spoils a lot of parties, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think 4.5 is just a little too much. So I'm going with the Tar Heels.
Final thing, since you are a fan of John Jansen's former team, the Commanders, what's the reaction in D.C. about Carson Wentz?
I've been defending Carson Wentz here in D.C. Nobody seems to like the guy. And, I mean, if you look at all the press surrounding him coming into this point, everybody is talking about how bad of a leader he is or was, and he can't do this, he can't do that. So I think the reaction in whole is like kind of underwhelming. But I will say I have a little optimism because I think at the end of the day, he's a better quarterback than Taylor Heineke. And I think that's going to bode well for a guy like Terry McLaurin and hopefully like a guy like Chris Olave, who they can draft this year in the draft and take that offense to another level. They have the skill position guys to get it done. I think they just need a quarterback with a bigger arm. And, of course, Carson Wentz does have a bigger arm. And hopefully he trusts this situation over the past situation because this might be his last chance to be a starter in the NFL. I hope he really takes that and focuses on being a better quarterback, not just for himself, but of course for the team and the Commanders. So I don't hate it as much as other people do, but it is Washington, D.C. It is what it is.
Yes. Hail to the Commanders. Thank you, Quinton. We appreciate it.